So, our brand new digital dog training planner has been available to buy on Etsy for a few weeks now. So, I thought I'd just take this chance to make a quick video to show those of you who haven't seen it yet, or those of you who have bought it and want some advice on exactly how to use it, just to show you how you can make the most of your planner to get the best results with training you and your dog. Okay, so it's a digital planner, so it's 68 pages. So you buy the download, which you can then print out at home, which is great because it's not dated at all. So it means you can use it, you can fill it all in. It's an 8-week planner. And so when those 8 weeks are up, you can then just reprint a new one and keep going. So it's basically, it's a one-off purchase that you can just keep using throughout your dog's training career. So I've popped mine into a little binder like this. So here's your front cover. You can put your name on. And then inside here, you've got all your contents pages, so you can easily find each section. You've got quite a big introductory section. There's lots of puppy stuff here, so this is great for first-time puppy owners. It's got your toilet training, your socialization and habituation checklists, weight log, lots of fantastic content for puppies there. You've got your calendar stuff here, so you can put in your dog shows, your vet appointments, worming and fleeing dates and everything like that. You've got big sections for that in here. And then you move on to your weekly planning log. So you get 8 weeks worth of planning, which we'll have a look at as we go through, so that you can kind of create a training schedule for yourself. So if you think about what goal you want to achieve by the end of the 8 weeks, you can plan it in here. Make sure you're doing the right things every day. Make sure you're doing the right exercises. Make sure you're reinforcing all the things you want all the time. So here is your introduction to planning, which is basically just kind of explaining what I've just said, how you can get the most out of having a plan for training your dog. Here you pop in your details and your dog's details, the date of your training plan. So if you do create more than one, you know the order in which you've done them. Okay, so you can keep them filed in order. So this is for your puppy owners. This is all about the importance of socialization and habituation. It explains what it is, why it's so important, how you can really make the most of those early weeks with your puppy. Socializing against fears, problems with other dogs or people, or fears of, traffic or thunderstorms, things like that. Over the page, you've got your checklist, which has got everything on it. Some things you would think of, like fireworks and traffic noises, obviously you want to socialize for. Some things maybe you wouldn't think of, obviously babies, preschoolers, children, all of these things you need to get your dog used to. The sound of the washing machine, men with beards, having their paw pads checked. A lot of people don't think about this until their dog gets a grass seed stuck in their paw, and then they just don't stand a chance of getting it out because the dog hasn't gotten used to having their paws touched at an early age. There's space down here as well for you to add some more of your own things that might be relevant to you. Then over here you've got your toilet training record. So what you do here is, obviously because you get the digital download, you can print out as many of this page as you want. This has got a week on it. And you keep a track of every single toileting incident your puppy has. So you note down the time, what they did, and where they did it. So whether they did it in the garden or they did it inside. After a few days, you'll quickly start to see a pattern, your puppy's toileting pattern, so that then you can preempt and you can make sure you're getting them outside and you're rewarding them toileting in the right place, just to speed up that toilet training. You've got your weight tracker here, so you can make sure your puppy is gaining the right amount of weight, but also if you're having any problems with obesity, this is a great way of keeping track, monitoring their diet, making sure you're getting back to a healthy weight. And then here you have your kind of general to-do lists. So you've got what tricks you'd like to train, books you'd like to read. You can kind of keep track of where you're at, behaviors you want to improve. So maybe, you know, barking at the doorbell or pulling on lead, places to walk. So when people say to you, you know, oh, you should try going down to Crown Lakes, it's lovely there, you pop it in here and you can tick it off when you've done it, and you can keep track of your favourites. There's a little notes section here if there's anything else you want to add that you don't want to forget. Then it moves on to your monthly pages, your calendar. So these aren't dated, these are all blank, which means obviously when you print it out again next year, you can just fill in the dates and it's good to go for another year. So each month you can pop in your activities on here, your goal for the month at the bottom, just to keep you focused, remind you what you're working on. So I've got, you know, family dates in here. We've got a dog show on there. Just whatever you want to put in here, really, you know, that you think's relevant. So then we get through past the calendar, and you've got your dog show tracker here. So whether you are Kennel Club or, you know, you're just looking at your family fun dog shows, you can keep track of the show, the date, the results. So you know, where you placed in the show, what show it was, and then you've got your goal setting here, which is your main goal setting page. So this is kind of the focus of the whole 8-week program. So you want to think, what are your main long-term goals? So you might pick your 3 big ones, which could just be off-lead reliability, or it could be that you're working towards maybe a trick training title, or it could be maybe if you're going to a puppy class and you want to graduate that, you know, this could be a big focus. So you'll pick your 3 big focuses, some space for notes down here. And then you've got just some advice on trick training, or even just training in general, popping things on cue. There's some good advice here on shaping and timing, marking and motivation. And then over here you've got your tracker. So this is your trick tracker. So we've got things on here like paw target, leg weave, and along here you can keep track of how many sessions you've done, where you're at in terms of success. So introduced is obviously going to be the first time you introduce something, and then you've got your numbered sessions, and then nailed it at the end. So once you're sure your cue is reliable, you can tick off that you've nailed it. This is the same, this is for behaviors. So this could be you know, sitting quietly as a visitor enters the house, or it could be walking on a loose lead. All of these things, you know, you still need to train in sessions in the same way as you would with your tricks. So it's exactly the same kind of setup, and space for you to write in your behaviours here. We get onto some information about generalization, the 3 Ds, which is really valuable information for training in new cues. Then we move on to the 8 weekly goal setting section. So at the bottom of each page, you'll find these trackers here. The paw print tells you which week you're on. So these are for week 1. So we've got week 1 here. As you go through, you'll see when you move on to week 2, it moves across, and week 3, so that just at a quick glance, you can quickly find the correct week. Or if you think, oh, I want to quickly flick back to week 1 and see how we got on with that, you can just quickly find it quite easily with these at the bottom of the page. So this is your weekly goal setting. So this is going to be a lot more specific, where you're going to hone in onto specifically what exercises and what things you want to do each day of the week. So you put your weekly focus in here. So here we want to focus on building off-lead focus. So this means proofing against distractions. Nova's distractions are definitely squirrels and birds. There's some other things for proofing against. There's a trick that I want to fix that she's kind of forgotten. She's getting muddled up with something else. Middle. So here we're going to fix leg weave, and then we're going to work on alternating the 2, making it really clear for her. In the days of the week, I'm just noting down kind of like things that I'm planning, where we're going to go, what we're going to do, kind of quickly noting how well it's gone. And then here, so this is just your log. So just to keep track of whether you are training daily or not, because it's really easy to kind of go in all guns blazing, and then actually you have a busy day at work and you're tired when you get home, and then you forget, and then a day's gone by and you haven't trained. So here, if you want to mark off each day, you know you need to do something. So this is just to keep you training every day. Here is a log sheet for each training session, so you can put the date and the time, just to keep track of what you've worked on, really, what tricks you've run through, you know, how successful was it. That's just an easy way of logging that. There's a notes page in each week, so, you know, plenty of space for you to add anything more that you feel like you want to include. And then there's a wow moments page, because it's really important to focus on the good stuff. A lot of trainers can get quite hung up on what's not working, what the dog is just not quite getting the hang of. But actually, if you force yourself to focus on some wow moments, you know, it can keep you motivated and keep you going. So I've picked 2 wow moments here. This was when we did a full trick run through with the dog barking just on the other side of the fence, which was fantastic for Nova, because she'll normally just run off to the fence and not listen to me at all. But her focus in the face of distraction is really improving. And then we did a lot of off-lead reliability games in the park on Tuesday, where she did really, really well. So I've put in a nice little action shot from that. So then when you look back, you can see actually, you know what, we are doing really well. Things are improving, because dogs need to be motivated to keep training. So, you know, we give them chicken, but actually we as trainers need to be motivated to keep at it as well. So it's important to give yourself that motivation and keep track of the good things here. So then at the end of that, you have your weekly review. So here is where you can keep track of the exercises you've done this week. So like, for example, the leg weave, I wanted to work on that at least 4 times. So I'm ticking every day that I have worked on it, and it turns out the total is actually 5. So I've worked on that more than my minimum target, so that's great. The doorbell response, I wanted to work on that 5 days, and I've actually only done 3. So that's room for improvement there. 3 successes this week. Again, keep yourself motivated, focus on the good. Lessons learned. So if anything has gone wrong, you know, maybe perhaps you've been trying to proof a recall and your dog has actually run off after another dog and it's failed, then your lesson learned is that you need to take a step back with that, maybe minimize the distractions and work at a lower level. So you'd pop that in here. How will next week be better? So, you know, give yourself just one thing to improve on. Maybe you didn't fit in enough training sessions, or perhaps you feel like you didn't actually exercise your dog enough for the week, or, you know, whatever you think you can just improve on for the next week. So then that's the end of the 1 week section. You're straight on to week 2, and you've got all the same pages following through in the same order. Space for notes, weekly reviews, wow moments, all the same stuff for 8 weeks. And then at the very end of your planner, so this is my coursework, ignore that, but this is the last page of the planner here. And this is all information on how you can join our trick training group online. If you find that trick training is something you're really passionate about, we have an online group. You can find us on Facebook, which you can join and work towards a certificate. So if you're interested in that, obviously the information is there at the back of your planner. If you are interested in getting a planner and you haven't got one, then by all means head on over to Etsy and search for dog training planner or dog training journal, and you'll find ours. Or you can go to our website, which is listendogtraining.co.uk, where you'll find all the details and links so you can get one of your own.